Well, good morning, class. I hope you are doing well. I am doing well. Good. So today we are going to basically try and do our tutorial 2, right? And before that, we will try and derive some sort of multipliers, in the equilibrium income, at least to know where do the multipliers that we use to calculate the change come from, okay? And we avoid some sort of just plugging in the numbers without even knowing where do these things come from, okay? So let's go and try and do this. Good. So we are going to derive here multipliers. We have what we call our identity, right? Whereby we say y, in this case of output, is equal to c plus I plus g, right? Which is government spending. Or depending on the level of the economy, it can be still, I'm just going to write this in red, okay? Plus, very good. Yeah, plus, this case also, I'm sorry, this is not what I want to do. Very good, plus, no, not what I want to do, plus nx, right? Depending on the economy, I'm writing nx, this is going to depend basically on the economy, whether it's open or closed, all right? Yet in this expression, okay, um, um, I'm going to write here, okay, draft. This is going to be our draft, okay. We know that C, which is consumption, is equal to autonomous, this consumption autonomous, plus CYD. CYD, I'm going to say this CYD. Okay, it's better this way. CYD here is whereby we have the consumption that depends basically on the disposable income, right? And here we can still derive this, okay, where we can say YD is equal to Y minus T, all right? Is equal to Y minus T. In other words, our disposable income is going to be equal to the overall income, deducting in this case the tax, okay? Is in other words, the net income is the income after tax, right? We can still do something here, okay, whereby we say T is equal to T autonomous plus the one that depends on income, okay. So if we plug all of these expressions into our identity, we can see how does it look like. Let's go and do it. But here we have y, which is the output, should be equal to in this case no longer c, right? Is c plus cyd, right? Plus I plus G, okay? Depending on the level of the economy, you can say plus NX, right? NX is the net export, okay? Net export is, in this case, the trade balance, whereby you have X minus N, okay? So let's still do this. Here we have Y should be equal to, in this case, C, okay, plus C. This C is what we call marginal propensity to consume, right? Don't just confuse yourself, okay? We can still do this. We can say this should be equal to y, all right, minus, all right, we can still do this, all right, sorry, t, okay, plus ty, okay, and we close the bracket, we close also the square bracket, okay, and we say plus, in this case, I plus, in this case, G. And again, depending on the economy, we'll say plus NX. Okay? Very good. So from here, I will derive, I'm going to forget the NX. I'm going to consider only the closed economy. Then at the end, I can, in this case, include the NX if that's necessary. Y is going to be equal to C plus cy. This is going to multiply like everything that is in the bracket. Or before that, you can even say y minus t minus ty, right? We close, right? Plus I plus G. Okay, let's move on. We'll have y should be equal to C plus. Now the marginal propensity to consume is going to multiply everything in the bracket. Okay, Cy, right? This should be minus. Should be minus CT, right? Should be minus CTY, right? Yes, plus I plus G. Okay, so here you can see that we have YY. Okay, we can take all of these into our hand side, right? So don't stress yourself whether this is a big Y or small y. All of them are Y's. Okay, so here we have Y, okay, minus cy, okay, I mean it's minus not plus, because when I is y it's minus. Very good. C is plus. When it goes to, oh, it's minus. Cy plus, in this case, plus CTY, right, should be equal to, in this case, this should be equal to, this should be equal to, in this case, it should be equal to I mean C plus I plus J. All right. So this is basically what we call autonomous. This is basically what we call autonomous, okay, consumption. All right. This is what we call autonomous consumption. Very good. If we use like the common factor here, which is y, we can have y. This is going to multiply, in this case, minus c, oh sorry, minus c, okay. This is going to multiply minus c plus ct, all right, yes, plus ct is going to be equal to c plus I plus G. All right, but we are not looking for YCT what? No, we are just looking for y. So in this case, very good. Y is going to be equal to, this part is going to come to the, how do I say this, into the, to the second right of the equation, right? Is going to be 1. Oh, very good. Let me just write a division line. Let me just write a division line. This is going to be equal to 1 divided by 1 minus c. Okay, 1 minus c. Okay, open the bracket, 1 minus t. Very good. So this is our multiply. This should multiply times, in this case, this should be times c. Attention, something is missing here. Something is, I'm going to add something is missing. We missed, listen, here we have, is even missing here. Here we have c plus, minus ct plus y plus g. So we've missed minus ct, very good. So this here also we've missed minus ct, minus, oh, sorry, very good, minus ct, very good. So here we will have, oh my god, plus I, right, plus g minus ct. Very good. So this is our expression. But just to reorganize it, we can assume that all of this expression is going to be, it is autonomous expenditure. So this is going to be, we can say A, okay, is going to be equal to, A is autonomous expenditure. It's going to be C plus I plus G minus CT. Very good. This is autonomous. Maybe I can just do this, right? Just to show that this is autonomous. Very good. So here we can come in and reorganize this equation. Okay, we will have y equals to, in this case, m. We will assume that all of 1 divided by 1 minus c, 1 minus t, it is a multiplier, okay, denoted by m. So this is going to be m times a. A is autonomous expenditure, as you can see here, okay. So very good. This is basically what we have as a multiplier. Again, if we assume that we are in an open economy, okay, we can still have this. In an open economy, I'm going to a red color. I'm going to say in an open economy. If we consider an open economy, we will have to include any x. What does it mean? It means that y is going to be equal to the multiplier times c plus I plus G plus NX. And we know by now that, let's go to our draft, right? NX is equal to X minus M, okay? And again, we know that M is equal to M, autonomous M, right, minus M that depends on income, right? So if we have these M that depends on income, M either way is going to come into the multiplier. So in other words, instead of just having here um, um, y, in this case y minus c y, right, plus ct y, right, we would add plus my, okay, plus my. This was going to be equal to, in this case, c, c, in this case, c plus I plus G plus NX, right? And all of the multiplier would be, in this case, okay, let me just write it here. The multiplier would be y equals to um, I'm just going to write the division line, okay, m, the multiplier in this case, I'll just write here the division line, one minus c, all right, 1 minus t plus m. This was going to be our overall multiplier. Okay, this is basically the expenditure multiplier. Okay, if we go and look for in this case the tax multiplier, let's suppose that there is a change, okay, in tax that's going to yield some sort of a change in the overall output of economic growth, and we need to see this change. Okay, here we'll basically say we need to calculate the multiplier, right? We will say y is going to be equal to in this case okay, just write the division line. Good. This is going to be equal to 1 divided by 1 minus c, okay, because this is government spending, okay, well, 1 minus c, okay, but we also know that t is not only t, is c, is minus ct, okay, as you can see here. Okay, very good. As you can see here, this is the tax is not only tax, okay, is the tax that depend, the autonomous tax depends on in this case the marginal propensity to consume, right? So this will basically be equal to y if we reorganize this, okay, if we reorganize this, that would be in this case equals to this y multiplies the 1, right? So I'm going to write here this equals to minus, okay, I'm going to write the division line, There we have minus, okay? This is C. 1 minus C. Okay, so this is the tax multiplier. Okay, maybe I can just do this. Here we have this multiplier. Okay, here we have tax multiplier. Okay, here we have, which comes from here. Here we have government expenditure multiplier, considering in this case an opening economy. Very good. So these are basically the multipliers that we are going to use, okay, way forward. Okay, good. So I am going to clean my whiteboard, assuming that we already know the multipliers and where do they come from, okay, and we take it from there for our tutorials. Okay, good. Just going to write here continuation. Continue to be continued. Continue. Good. So let's see how does our tutorial look like. Well, it's not opening. Oh, very good. There we go. Oh my God. It should be somewhere. Okay, I'm just going to open here. There we go. Very good. So let's wait a bit while it opens. Let's wait a little bit while it opens. I hope by now everyone knows how to determine the multipliers. Okay. And we take it from there. This is going to take a little bit, a while, some seconds to open. Well, I'm going to go, there we go. Okay, 1 just appeared. Okay, 1 says, suppose that the marginal propensity to consume in an economy is 0.8, and that there is a change in government spending that leads to a change in the leads to a 20 billion increase in national income and total expenditure. What was the initial change in government spending that led to the change in the initial income? Very good. So there we go. We've been given, in this case, let's say, okay, activity 1. Okay, MPC, which is C, is equal to 0.8. Okay, there was a change in government spending. Okay, there was a change in government spending that led to an increase. Okay, that change we don't know. Okay, but then the increase that was led by the change in government spending was basically equals to 20B. Okay. Now the question is, what was the initial government spending? Okay. We know this. It's in this case a government spending multiplier. Okay. So here we are going to write this. Okay. Our multiplier is going to be equal to, I'm going to write a division line. I'm going to write a division line. The multiplier is going to be equal to 1 minus C, 1 minus T. Okay? Then you ask yourself, but why minus T? That's easy. It's because we basically have in our intuition, we know that in the government spending, okay, multiplier, we have tax, okay, but the tax in this case, it has this structure. The way I've just shown you, it has a T plus T, T plus Ty, okay, and this is the Ty. So in other words, if the tax that you are given, if that is a given, it has tax that depends on income, we are going to have this T here. But then if the tax that you are given, if that tax is given, it does not depend on this one, we just have the autonomous. All the multiplier drops to the consumption multiplier. Okay, and here we will have 1 divided by 1 minus C, and that's it. All right, so here this can be equal to this is going to be equal to 1 minus 0.8. Okay, and the overall multiplier is going to be equal to 5. Okay, then this is not enough. Okay, we will say now we're going to calculate the change. Okay, and we will say, do I write this change even? We will say change in Y is going to be equal to, I will denote change as C. Okay, change in government spending multiplied, okay, maybe we'll just say this, M, which is the multiplier, multiplied by the change in government spending. Okay, so here we know that the government spending led to 20B change in output, which is equal to the multiplier, which is 5. Okay, this should multiply the change in government spending. Okay, I'll just write government spending just to avoid confusion between C change, then C marginal propensity to consume. Okay, but now we know that this is the change. All right, so this is multiplying. When it comes here, it divides. Okay, 5 should be equal to J, and J should be equal to 4 billion. What does it mean? It means that the initial government spending that led to, in this case, to 20B change in output was basically 4 billion. Okay, very good. This was activity 1. Let's see 2. What happens to the level of national income in an economy with an MPC of 0.8 if autonomous consumption increases by 20 billion, autonomous investment decreases by 5 billion, autonomous government spending increases by 10 billion, and autonomous net export by 15 billion. Very good. Activity 2. Activity 2. Very good. We say MPC is again 0.8. It's again 0.8. Okay. The question is, what happens to Y? Okay. If A, C increases by 20 B, all right, B, all right, B, investment decreases by 5B. Investment decreases by 5B, right? C, government spending increases by 10B. Okay, and D, NX, okay, increases by 15B. Very good. Here we already have the multipliers. Okay, it's a matter of applying the multipliers. All right. So we will say A. Okay. Change in Y is going to be equal to change in C. Is going to be equal to the multiplier times change in C, which is the autonomous consumption. Again, here we must write the change. Yeah, I'm just not writing it because it looks quite weird, right? So here we have Y equals to, in this case, okay, Y equals to, then we already know the multiplier, okay? It's 5 again. It's going to be 5, okay, multiplied by the change in C, which is 20B. Okay, this is going to be equal to 100B. That means if consumption increases by 20B, okay, the total output, like the overall output or economic growth, is going to increase by 100B, billions in this case. B, what happens if investment decreases by 5 billion? Okay, again the multiplier is the same, is 5, or we'll say Y is going to be equal to M multiplied by Y. This Y is autonomous. This I and this C and all of the other variables, they are autonomous. Okay, so we will say Y should be equal to 5 multiplied by 5 in this case. okay, and this should be equal to 5b. This should be equal to in this case 25 billion. That means minus. That means a decrease in investment by 5 billions is going to decrease the overall income by national income by 25 billion. Okay, that's huge, right? So let's see. Okay, what happens if government spending increases by 10 billion? Okay, the multiplier is the same. We will say y should be equal to m times the change in government spending. Okay, and y should be equal to 5 times 10b. Okay, and this should be equal to 50b, right? Increase. Okay, and the interpretation is the same, right? Very good. D, net export. Net export is x minus m. It's in other words, the trade balance, right? So what happens if it increases by 50 billion? Okay, the multiplier is the same. Why am I saying is the same? Because since we don't have the function of import, whereby we would have the marginal propensity to import and the multiplier will change to the first one, where we would have 1 over 1 minus c, 1 minus t plus m, okay? And also, if it is not a given value, all the multipliers are going to drop to the first multiplier, okay? So here we will say y should be equal to m multiplied by in this case nx, okay, and here y should be equal to 5 multiplied by our nx in this case is 15b, okay, this should be equal to 75 billions plus going to denote like an increase, okay. So this is basically our activity 2, okay. This is our activity 2. Very good. Let's move on. Activity 3. Activity 3. Let's read and see. Oh, very good. Let's stop here and we will do the second part of the tutorial. Thank you very much. See you in the next video.